Hey, it's Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
today's topic is problematic 8's.
Yeah. We have our affluent 5s and our problematic 8s.
Affluent 5's being something we see in our neighborhood, which is girls that are about a 5 or a 6 in attractiveness. Most of them are moms,
Yeah.
And they married well. And these
did.
are the girls that married like the summer after college or,
Exactly.
they might work a year or two, maybe.
Maybe.
But pretty much they lock in that boyfriend that they're going to marry that first semester. There's not. But that's your affluent 5's. Well, on the other end of the spectrum is you can find your problematic 8's.
Oh.
And won't you describe how this whole thing came about?
Well, okay, so we have one client in particular. Good looking, affluent enough man in his mid-40s, like the perfect age range to literally date anything from 20 to 38. I mean, he's got girls following all over him all the time. And the girl that he is currently dating and has been for a while is an 8.
Or she was when they met.
Right, yeah, she doesn't look the same now, but at her core, she could be back there, but she's lazy. The bottom line is, she is an absolute nightmare. She's a nightmare. I mean, he has shown me videos where she was like going off the rails and he's like videoing it without her knowing. I mean, like, she's just unhinged all of the time. She drinks a lot. Like, everything about this girl is a nightmare. Now, make no mistake, he allows this all to happen. All of the things that we know about male behavior, he allows. But at the core, I've even called him out on this before. Because I'm always curious because we know what we know. I did some Facebook stalking, and the bottom line is he's always dated 6s. The one child that he has is with a 6. Every other girl in his sphere is a 6. So the bottom line is this girl's the hottest girl he's ever dated.
And that's a hard thing for a guy to break away from.
Yeah.
It is, it's hard for guys that are kind of used to it.
Yeah.
They're not quite as replaceable. But it is, if it's like the 1 or the 2, the appearance is hard to let go. And probably in the back of his mind is, unfortunately, can I replace her?
Well,
you know what I mean?
And every friend that he has is like, oh, she's fucking hot. Oh, she's that kind of stuff.
And it's funny, like when Bunny was describing this girl, this is an isolated incident in our world, but we know there are like packs of these girls, and they're either, I don't ever see them with children.
No.
Most of them are like late 30s, early 40s. They're still hanging on to their looks.
Yeah.
But the drinking kind of starts catching up to them, not having kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were married and haven't been able to get remarried.
Yeah.
These are not wives. It's like single girls, and they are truly problematic.
Well, and like you're saying, not married, no kids. They're losing their minds even more because they wanted to have kids in theory, but really, I mean, like this guy, he's like, I don't want to have children with this woman. She is a nightmare. She would be a terrible mother.
And the ones that are moms, and you don't see it very often, you don't know they're moms.
True.
Because they never mention it. I mean, like the
True.
daughter will be like already in college or a senior, and you'll be like, well, she's with her dad most of the time. You're like, because we've been around women that you wouldn't know they're moms.
You wouldn't know they have children if you didn't specifically ask.
Yeah. Do you have kids? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's all there is to it. Well, what?
Yeah.
What kind of mother is?
Something's a little messed up there.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
And
we should do a whole podcast.
We're not
just
even
on
being
that.
judgy because you ask most healthy girls, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a mom first.
Yeah.
And then I'm a district attorney.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's the importance level.
It's true.
Hell, they might never even get to the job. They go, I'm a mom, and I run this corporation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also a CFO.
Yeah, they don't.
On
it
the
doesn't
side.
matter.
Yeah.
Because they do not. At the end of the day, they're like, I get to take care of these kids.
That's right.
But this problematic 8, the problem is it's hard for the guys to make a decision that they would make with a 6.
Sure.
And the personality truly makes the girl unattractive.
Yeah, that's what gets me. Okay, so number one, I've called this guy out and I've been like, do you just not want to start over? Are you afraid you're not going to be able to pull another girl as attractive? And I'm not kidding. I've even told him, you could date a 24-year-old and make this 36-year-old really fucking jealous. There's nothing there that would be keeping him from dating whoever he wanted to.
Yeah, the things we know. And he's not
Exactly.
a beta guy.
Well,
To a
I
certain
think he
extent.
kind
He's
of
not that
is.
soft,
I think
yeah.
he's a little bit in the center.
Yeah.
But I think he doesn't even, he tells me constantly that he's not even attracted to her sexually anymore because she's such a cunt.
This is not unusual.
And yet,
He's still with her.
it's easier to stay with her
It
than
is.
not.
And so I think, and make no mistake, the problems that we're presenting are universal with
Yeah.
a lot of these guys that are dealing with problematic 8s.
Yeah.
She's hotter than anybody else that he's ever gone out with. So he's pussy whipped.
Yeah.
She's an absolute dramatic nightmare. So you kind of had that going for you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, she keeps them occupied.
True.
A lot of these guys are very much into their business or their lifestyle or what they're doing. These are not, what would you say? They've not committed to a life of leisure yet.
Right,
They're still
right.
in that working mode, and they work a lot and they travel a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trouble
True.
to get rid of her.
True.
You know?
Good point.
And the drama kind of comes and goes, and she's part of their life. Because these girls are definitely more than just a girlfriend. They'll usually move in.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So it's hard to break away. And I don't know if they ever do. I don't know what the common outcomes are.
I know.
The best thing to do is to not get yourself in that position.
How much do you think having, even if you get to this point that he is at, how much do you think you can turn around with game?
Little, if any, because they're damaged.
Because it's already ingrained.
The damage is already there. Yeah. Dread where you work with jealousy and that sort of thing. When you deal with damaged girls and jealousy, they don't start chasing or question themselves. They become angry.
Yeah. I could see her
Yeah.
slashing tires and
Yeah,
breaking windows,
yeah.
going
Or shooting you.
psychotically.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I mean, in the more affluent, suburban neighborhoods, there's a killing a year.
For a reason.
Yeah, for some girl goes off on the boyfriend.
That's a good point.
So game doesn't work on damaged women. It's a feature, not a bug. But you can't. But the thing is, if you do know game, you should know that should be a screening tool before they get into your life.
Yeah.
And they're not that great for fun either.
No.
Because they're demanding and they're not going to stick around for long. They're not going to go into anybody's rotation unwittingly. You know what I mean? If they had their designs on a guy, they'll jump in for a little while if he's high value enough, but they're not going to stick around because they'll be pushing for a relationship right away.
Well, and they tend to be really selfish because they're
Yeah.
just attractive enough to be
Yeah.
to have a lifetime of pretty much being handed what they want.
Yeah, they don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, very rarely do they work, So, yeah, they're dependent on him, but you never know it.
Yeah.
He's as dependent on her as she is on him.
It really is a codependence, and
Yeah.
maybe that's the biggest kicker. It's like it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys have kids. I mean, if you're in your 40s or 50s, most guys have kids in some capacity.
Yeah. Well, and like he has a kid who's older, who's like in college, and she and the kid butt heads constantly. But it's mainly because they're both used to being the one.
Yeah. But this problematic 8
Yeah.
is why we call it a problematic 8.
It is.
Because there's nothing you can solve here. I don't know what the long term, because we haven't really seen this long enough to really see how they work out.
It's only been 5 years after all.
Yeah.
It just keeps going downhill more and more.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. But not enough to break the back, And again, they're out there, these girls are out there in droves.
Yeah.
They're in nicer neighborhoods. They run together. They hang out together. Because married girls with healthy marriages and healthy relationships don't want these girls around. They don't get along with. And the 8s don't want to go around healthy married women because it makes them mad.
Yeah,
they
it
don't
does.
Because the first thing women say once they're in their 30s is, well, do you have kids?
Yeah.
And when the girl says no, that's the end of the conversation.
It's true.
Because they know something's off.
That's very true.
So that's
problematic 8s. Whew.
We don't have a solution yet, but you could help us if you've seen this situation.
Yeah.
It's basically a sharp guy and a good-looking woman who is a total nightmare, and there's no other way to describe it.
It's true.
It's a nightmare, And the guys is normal acting. There's crazy guys out there, but those tend to attract each other and then they blow up.
Well, and here's what I've also found with them is, and we really are wrapping this up, but, the girls can act normal in social situations to a point, but oftentimes there's a lot of alcohol involved, and then you see her true colors.
Oh, yeah.
That's when she flies off the handle and makes a scene in the middle of a social gathering or something really bizarre.
Yeah.
And that's the real her.
Yeah.
And
coming out.
Not that put together person that you saw 2 hours prior.
Yeah, they don't have the best impulse control.
No, they do not.
No.
We want you to win. If you like this podcast, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. And truly, if you have encountered this, if you know someone who's dealt with this, or if you've dealt with it yourself, we love to hear your stories and your solutions. We want you to win. Bye.